This year in itself has probably been the most progressive year of my life, and there's a lot of reasons for why this has happened. But rather than the actual specifics, I want to talk about actual goal setting and the importance of goal setting generally, and how goal setting in itself has benefited me as much as it has this year. The first time I ever decided to set some goals was January 1st, 2020. It came so impulsively. I had no reason to set goals for the year because I had never done it any years before. But that January 1st, I had set goals that I wanted to achieve by the end of the decade. So from January 1st, 2020, all the way till January 1st, 2030. So when I did that, I was like, okay, I have 10 years to do this. Let me write some difficult goals that are out of my league to achieve. So I just set out a bunch of things. I still have the note, so I might post it on Twitter. But anyways, the goals that I had set out for myself to achieve were goals that I wanted to achieve within the next 10 years. And truthfully, I forgot about everything that I wrote. I just wrote out a bunch of shit and then never came back to it. So, end of 2020, I returned back to the goals that I wrote out for myself and ended up achieving a decade's worth of goals within 12 months, within 1 year. So approaching the next year, 2021, I was like, okay, if it works like this, where if I set goals that are difficult for me to achieve, maybe I can reach even further. So I had set out goals that are even more difficult to achieve, and I ended up achieving them again by 2022. And then 2022, 2023, you get it. You get the point. So these last few years, I really ended up fitting into my frame, fitting into who I wanted to become, which ultimately enhanced my identity. And your identity is something that is so crucial to everything else in your life. Your identity will dictate your future. Your perception of yourself and how you feel about yourself will dictate what you're able to or what you're unable to achieve. I mentioned this previously. Someone who has a negative identity based on the habits that they indulge in. Someone that goes clubbing every single weekend. Someone that is very out of shape. Someone who is unable to keep promises. Someone who just simply has a bad way of living. That person can't sit down, truthfully, honestly, look at themselves in the mirror and say that I'm worth XYZ. So enhancing your identity. The way how to enhance your identity to become something that you want to become and ultimately convince yourself that you're worthy of more is by goal setting. When you set goals that are hard to achieve, it improves your self-image. Like, wait a second, I was able to do that. What else am I able to do? And that's how it worked for me. And reading on the biographies that I've read and learning about other people, that's also how it works for them. You strive for something difficult, and in the process of achieving something difficult, you become something better. This year was the year where I wanted to go all out. So the goals that I had set out for this year were on a whole different league than everything else previous. At the time, I wanted to go from 0 to 1 million, however way that may have been. And coming from someone that has never had 1 million in anything besides minutes being alive, I didn't know how I was gonna do it. So this year, I had set 2 major goals that I remember at least. I had set to get to 100 million views, which was the most important, and then 100k followers across social. So including TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the fuck. That was what the goal was for this year. I ended up achieving 100k subs in 4 months and 100 million views in 4 months. And now I'm approaching 350 million views across YouTube and TikTok and 500k followers. So the unconscious brain is a truly fascinating thing, especially in regards to your self-image and what you're capable of doing. If you can convince yourself that you're able to do something difficult, the rest will simply fulfill itself. But that starts with convincing yourself. And the way to genuinely convince yourself is to improve your self-image. How do you improve your self-image? Through the habits that you indulge in. So that opens up for my next video, the new habits that I picked up in 2023. So this year, because the things I've been doing this year, I have never done in my life before. And the result is everything that you see. So if you're still watching and you're already subscribed, just turn on notifications so you'll hear from me again very soon.